I'm spending the odd half hour to an hour in the shed getting things running. And what I'll do is I'll share some of my thoughts with you in terms of maintaining an older layout. So the first thing I've done after clearing the actual physical rubbish off the track is to clean all the track so that I know the rail head itself is clear. That didn't quite always happen first time. There were areas around here where I've sprayed that back wall and the scatter with varnish, and the varnish hadn't come off with normal cleaning. I needed to give it a bit more abrasion. Oh, there's a bit of wind. Close the door. Then the next stage is getting track continuity. I've said, I'm just opening the door, in a previous video that the track feeds are at either end of my run round, and one of the essential items for testing is this. There are other ways of testing for the track. So you know that you've got track continuity there. You can see the green light, hopefully, and you see it coming up as far as the just before the point, and then after the point you've got 3 roads. And at the moment I do have track continuity to this end. It disappears here because at the other end, you can just see that light coming on, of the fiddle yard, the road up by the points is set to the middle road. So this has been fed all the way from the opposite end over there. And that's working fine. But we've got track continuity on here, and if I change the point at the other end, hopefully it will go all the way through. But I've had 1 or 2 issues. And at this, let's put that onto the middle one. Let's switch this over to the middle one. And hold on, switch it to the middle one. But it's gone off, and the reason it's gone off is not because this isn't making good contact, it's because of this one here. And what I'm finding is opening and closing that point is not reliable. So this is the point blades. I've cleaned the point blades and switch rail, and this is really about sufficient tension on the point motor or something that's doing the switching. Remember, I've got solenoid point motors which move over, and then you're relying on mechanical means to hold the point blades together. And there was on these an over center spring to hold them in place, which may not be there. Right, so that's point blades. So cleaning the point blades and the rails, and needle file. That's a screwdriver. That's a file. And this is fine grit emery paper, which will go between the two to clean it. But there's another issue. And the other issue is fish plates or rail joiners. I have managed to change one here, but because the track is fixed down, there are some fish plates which have failed, let's say. There's managed to get corrosion. Given the number, it's not a huge number. But a comment I have is this scenic section has been laid a long time, 30 years, say. Let's just say 30 years. And it was laid using Fleischmann track. Looking at the points, I'm not sure what the points are. And I have not had any problems with continuity through rail joiners and fish plates. But it is something that will occur. So that I've been very fortunate in terms of how this has gone together. These are longish sections of track. It's not just set track. We've built exhibitions at we've built layouts at a couple of the clubs I've been a member of for exhibition. And our policy for DCC layouts or for exhibition layouts is 2 droppers, that's true, 2 power feeds to every piece of track. What that means is you are not reliant on the rail joiners for track continuity. It does mean that you are either running DCC where everything is live all at once, apart from some sectioning, or you have switching, and I've seen that as well, to switch the power, so that if I wanted to switch one of the platform faces here on and the other platform face off, I'd have to do it with switches, which is not impossible. But remember, if there's a lot of track feeds, that's a lot of wiring. So a lot more wire is needed. But 2 droppers per section of track, you are no longer reliant upon the fish plates. An alternative method, because I don't want to go starting to put droppers in, as a, as a maintenance, ongoing maintenance, that I will use if the fish plate is hard to replace. So if it's track that I can't dig up very well, would be to just solder across the joint. If I was in thinking, oh, I need to reuse these points, can't do that, then I'd think twice, because you effectively, once you've got solder on the points, it makes it a lot harder to reuse them. So when doing the testing here, at this point, I assumed it was power not getting through the blades. That was a factor, but also it wasn't getting through the rail joiners. And so you've got to test very carefully to make sure you've got power going across the rail joiner. Which line is it here that's on? One of these lines has got power to it. Oh, maybe not at the moment. It should be that one. Yeah. So very carefully test that the power is going through the rail joiner. And then everything will be fine. So that's it, just track continuity. If you're doing it retrospectively and you can't change a fish plate, there might be other people who will comment and say, here's a method. But if I can't change the fish plate there because it's too solidly glued, I would put some solder across, maybe even with a fine wire, to get the continuity through that rail joiner once I've isolated that as being the issue. I have another slightly major issue here in that movement of the board means that some of these joins here are not what they should be, but that's something else quite separate that I need to attend to and deal with, getting the track into better align. But I have had a go at that in the past. What you'll see is that this is Peco set track, Peco flexible track, a bit of the Fleischmann track just along here, because it's held very nicely in the base. And so that one, which is quite badly misaligned, I can just free up this section, realign it better, and then glue it. I've got the bolts in, so this board is not going to move too much, but that's another maintenance issue. And then we've got running, and you can see trains running around. And I think you can see trains running around now. You've seen it in a previous video. Oh, that switch to that track. For the small one, you prefer to see bigger ones running around. Let's change it to platform 3, line 2B. And you see I've moved from the small one to this one. Wonder if I change the points. Can't remember what condition I've left the points in over there. I run the risk of things not working. It's going on to the far track, and that is the bad join across there. So I'm stopping it because it's derailing things. Okay, a little bit of running right at the end of the video. comments, please, about fish plates, point blades, track continuity, and that side of maintenance. And if you'd like to see videos of me soldering across a fish plate or filing a point blade, then I can set the camera on a tripod and do that for you, but I think you understand. Phew, the points were set in the correct direction. It's interesting, it's slowing down there. There'll be a reason for that. That's cumulative resistance. That's from track joins, etc. Let's just stop it. The simple track tester doesn't necessarily show where you've got poor continuity, it shows when you've got none. So running the train around helps demonstrate points where you've got poor continuity, where you've got resistance across a rail joiner or something. The other thing is the shed I'm in is mounted on blocks, and there is a slight tilt so that it is uphill at that end and downhill at that end. So there will be slowing down of this train as it goes across the uphill bit. So I've set it to a certain level. I'm not touching the controller. My hand's here. And you see it slowing down as it goes around there. Yep. But slowing down at the other end is something else entirely. Well, it made it across that bad join. So I'm not touching the controller. That's downhill. Then it gets along here. It's not very noticeable at that setting of the controller. Okay, that's enough.